Hello friends, welcome back to another 5-minute game. This game will be between the Bohemians and the Poles, and I'll show you what the Poles can do with their cheaper knight technologies. Let's jump into it. So here I am playing in the red as the Poles on the New Arabia, just a random map. I have berries that are a bit exposed, gold in the back, and then the wood lines are pretty standard for the New Arabia. My opponent has a pretty similar map. Gold's a bit more exposed, berries are a bit more exposed, but still some decent wood lines, and he's got this secondary gold in the back. So I opened up with a standard scout rush. You can see both me and my opponent have quite a bit of idle time. We both actually random these civilizations. It was just interesting that we both got some of the new civilizations. You can see the full work on demo, and the first farms I'm putting around the full work. I was a bit worried about archers being able to pressure the farm, so I only put them on one side of the full work and then continued on the other side. But that's quick food to make sure my scouts get out very quickly. My opponent, Erasmus, went for the quick range and then a few farms and then a blacksmith to make sure he was able to get to the castle age at a reasonable time. He's going forward here with the archers, but I had already scouted that, so I have an archery range ready, and I am just about fully walled already, so I should be able to recover from this feudal pressure quite easily. On the other hand, he is just finishing walling up right now. He does have his entire right side still to be walled. So we had some nice friendly chat about the feudal age right before I clicked castle. I guess my opponent wasn't too far behind. He added a stable to try to deal with the skirmishers I was making. I made quite a few. I think this was a bit of a mistake from him because he wouldn't really be able to pressure inside my base with just the scout and archers, so I think he should have just tried to get up as quickly as possible. He would have had an even faster castle age time if he did that, especially since how poor the Bohemians' cavalry line is. If you had seen my previous 5-minute game where I played as the Bohemians, you can tell how strong those archers were. That's why I kind of overcommitted with the skirmishers in this game. So I only have 2 town centers up, remaking a lumber camp just to increase efficiency a little bit, and I'm really focusing on the stone so that I can get the unique tech, the privileged tech, which kind of makes knights into what I think of like the Malay battle elephants. A bit stronger than that, since the Malay battle elephants don't really get many upgrades, but it makes them quite a bit cheaper. On the other hand, my opponent is on 3 town centers, and he's still making some archers, not too many. But since my opponent isn't leaving their base, I'm making the most of my scouting and the resources spread around the map, and so I'm building town centers a bit further out and building my castles on the hills where I can protect my town center. And here, my privilege comes out, my Szlachta privilege, just while my opponent's getting wheelbarrow, which is probably a little bit late for him, considering the number of farms he has, though I understand it if he was just going for archers initially. So my opponent just got up to Imperial Age. He has crossbow with chemistry, but he doesn't quite have arbalest yet. So I'm just trying to use my cheaper knights. I'm grouping them up further from the action and then coming in with the group. I have rams to tank some of the damage, and my skirmishers are still alive to do some damage behind the scene. And I've really thinned out his archer numbers as he's gone up to imp, which has bought me time to click up to imp myself. To show you how powerful this technology is, I have between 15 and 20 Cavalier in queue the entire time, and I'm still floating resources. I'm going out, pushing out with the Cavalier a little bit too quickly. I'm just going to continue to build castles. I have map control, except here where I was taking some of his gold, a little cheeky move, and he made sure to castle that. And his light cav are coming in to snipe my trebuchet, which is unfortunate, but my knight numbers are, or my Cavalier numbers are really biting into his arbalest numbers. Light cab don't matter as much because I can keep making 20 Cavalier in the queue. It's just crazy. So this is pretty much game. He doesn't really have any military to counter out the castle being taken down. He's pulled back his arbalest to the bottom of the hill in front of his base, and he's just trying to make more castles to defend himself. I still have a crazy number of Cavalier in queue. I'm still floating resources. All I have to do is keep pushing with trebuchets and take control. I've started making my own castle on this side, raiding his gold. I just have so many units. I could have raided even more. I have an opponent who tried to go FC into Szlachta privileges, and that's not the way to go. You really need to have an economy behind it, so you need to spend the time and work on some feudal pressure before you try to boom into it. Hopefully this helps, and subscribe if you want to see more 5-minute games.